Okay, so let's get right into it. Everybody is talking about vibe coding these days, right? You know, this idea that you can just type a simple prompt and boom, an AI spits out a full-stack React and Tailwind app in like 60 seconds. And let's be honest, the undisputed king of this whole space right now is a tool called Lovable.
And the hype? It's not just talk. I mean, Forbes literally called Lovable the fastest growing software startup in history. That's a pretty insane promise. But you and I, as developers, we know that there's a huge difference between a slick demo and a real, production-ready product.
So you've got this incredible promise on one side. Type a prompt, get an app. Instantly. But then there's the reality. The actual hard work of building something real with complex business logic, secure authentication, and a database that can actually scale. Yeah, that's a whole different ballgame.
So that's what we're doing today. We are taking a brutally honest look at Lovable. I'm going to show you where it feels like absolute magic, where it completely falls on its face. And, most importantly, I'm going to give you the exact workflow that you need to use, so you don't just burn through all your credits in some frustrating debugging loop.
All right, first up, let's talk about the magic. Because I'm telling you, when Lovable works, it really feels like you're coding in the future. This is where the tool absolutely shines, taking you from just an idea in your head to a clickable working app in what feels like minutes.
The whole process is just so simple. You start by writing a prompt describing what you want to build. Then, and this is a huge win, you can edit the UI visually, just like you would in Figma. Finally, you connect your backend services with just a couple of clicks. Seriously, the speed you go from zero to a functioning front end, it's kind of mind-blowing.
And here's the engine that's making all that speed possible. You get instant project scaffolding with all the good stuff, Vite, React, Tailwind. That visual editor I mentioned, it's a game changer. No more trying to prompt an AI just to change the color of a button. And then you get these incredible one-click integrations for your database and auth with Supabase, payments with Stripe, and a full GitHub sync so you're never, ever locked in. That's a killer feature set for getting off the ground fast.
But then the magic starts to wear off. And this is the reality check. This is where we have to talk about what happens when you try to push the tool beyond a simple prototype and into something more complex. Let's call it the loop of despair.
So here's the billion-dollar question, right? What happens when your app needs to do more than just basic create, read, update, and delete? You know, when you have multi-step workflows or custom business rules or some really complex state management to deal with.
Well, this is where you can smash right into the biggest complaint from the Lovable community, the dreaded AI debugging loop. You ask it to fix a bug, it fixes it, but it breaks something else. So you ask it to fix the new thing, and it brings back the original bug. And all the while, every single one of those messages is eating up your paid monthly credits. It is incredibly frustrating, and it costs you real money.
And this, right here, this is why it breaks. See, under the hood, a standard Lovable app uses what's called a two-tier architecture. That means your browser, the front end, is talking directly to the database. This basically pushes all of your security onto AI-generated rules. Just think about that. You are literally trusting an LLM to write your app's security. And the result? Yeah, it's great for prototypes, but for a real app, it can create an incredibly fragile spaghetti code mess.
Okay, so how do we fix this? How do we get the magic without the meltdown? Well, that brings us to the solution, what I'm calling the DevMind Strategy. It is all about using this tool for its strengths without letting it trap you with its weaknesses. So pay close attention, because this is probably the most valuable part of this whole explainer.
The single most important mindset shift you have to make is this. You have to stop trying to build your entire application inside of Lovable's chat window. It is not the final destination. Think of it as step one. It's the launchpad.
So here it is, the winning playbook. It's a simple three-step process. First, you scaffold. Use Lovable for what it's absolutely amazing at, rapidly prototyping the user interface, setting up all your React components, getting that visual flow perfect. Second, you eject. The second that front end is looking good, you sync the entire project over to GitHub. And third, you scale. You pull that repo down to your local machine and use a proper AI-powered IDE, something like Cursor, to handle all the complex backend logic, the custom database functions, in the real production-level scaling.
So, what's the final verdict here? Look, Lovable is an incredibly powerful tool. It really is. But it is not a magic wand. The key to success, the real secret, is knowing exactly when to use it and, just as importantly, when it's time to eject.
So think of it like this. You should absolutely use Lovable for validating your ideas, for building out an MVP over a weekend, or for just incredibly fast front-end scaffolding.
but you have to avoid trying to build your entire, complex, enterprise-grade SaaS application from start to finish inside that chat window. That is the path to the loop of despair.
I think this quote that's been making the rounds online in developer circles just sums it up perfectly. It really captures the two sides of this tool. If you want to validate an idea, Lovable is incredible. But if you try to build your entire complex SaaS in their chat window, you are going to lose your mind.
So what about you? What's your experience been? Have you actually tried vibe coding with Lovable or something similar? Did you get completely stuck in that debugging loop, or did you find a workflow that actually made you a 10x developer overnight? Let's argue about it in the comments. I really want to hear what you guys think.